The sense of urgency has risen in the locker room. Shady, my thought is this. It's Super Bowl or bust for the Bengals. Now, that seems outlandish. It seems like a reach. I'll explain my rationale. I think it's Super Bowl or bust for every AFC team. The AFC is about to be competitive for God knows how long. Trevor Lawrence is getting better. Justin Herbert is getting better. Patrick Mahomes is present. Aaron Rodgers, don't know what he will do, but he has an incredibly high ceiling. Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, I believe they will get better. Josh Allen, he could get over the hump. Lamar Jackson, he's present and getting better. You got to get yours while you can, because you never know when you won't be able to get one again. The Bengals have gone to a Super Bowl in Joe Burrow's short-lived career. The Bengals have gone to 2 AFC Championship games in Joe Burrow's short-lived career. You never know when you're going to go back. So for my money, in my mind, it's always Super Bowl or bust, because you never know if that window that you believe will be open in perpetuity is actually going to be open. I'm constantly reminded of Philip Rivers, that incredibly decorated, I believe, 18-year or so career. Philip Rivers went to an AFC Championship game just one time. Just one time in his illustrious career. He probably thought when he went to that AFC Championship game, I believe early on, I believe it was maybe year 3 or year 4. I'm sure I will be corrected as I'm talking. I'm not looking up the stats, going off memory. I'm sure he probably thought 2-5, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back. Like Joe Burrow and Bengals fans probably think to themselves, oh, we're going to do this all time. Philip Rivers, he went in year 4. But you never know when that window's going to close. So that's why, Shady, I think it's Super Bowl or bust for the Bengals. Hyperbole, sure, but I genuinely think it is. Where do you stand? Super Bowl or bust?
Nah, I'm not for that. I don't believe that. All these years of playing football and watching it, I don't believe that it's either a Super Bowl or bust. For example, if that's the case, then every quarterback, every team is Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
Right? Other than Patrick Mahomes. I can say the Chiefs are the only team that I can say, Ian, I'm an Eagle, fanatic. There's only one team that I can say, you know what? They're going to be in a Super Bowl. Right? So I can't really say that for Joe Burrow. I think one thing that Joe Burrow said that I love, he said that it's my window was open as long as I'm here.
Correct.
To win a Super Bowl. So if it's not this year, if it's next year, I think they have the capability of going out there and winning a Super Bowl. But I don't want to say this year is a Super Bowl or bust. I can't live like that.
That's just the lie I'm afraid of, I guess. And I don't know if it's a lie or if it's true. Slick, obviously you are born in Cincinnati?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised in Cincinnati.
Born and raised in
Cincinnati.
Born and a natty.
Oh, yeah, natty. Oh, gosh, I still haven't digested that one. My issue with that, and I love Joe Burrow, obviously. He's one of my favorite players in the league. We spent some time together last offseason. He was in Cali. Is the window might not always be open. When you're young, you think you got forever ahead of you in anything in life. Oh, man, my parents, I can't believe they 40. Now, here I am, just, 5, 6, 7, 8 years away from I guess.
It's a while.
I still got a while. But when you're young, you think you got all the time in the world. I just don't know. I think it is literally Super Bowl or bust.
I understand why you say that, but let me preface all of this by saying Bengals fans do not expect this to happen all the time. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There's an old joke about that you can always pick out the Bengals fan in a crowd because they're made of pure scar tissue. There's only once in this team's franchise history that they've gone to the playoffs 3 years in a row. The last 2 times they went to a Super Bowl, the following year they lost in the wild card, and then they didn't go to the playoffs at all for 5 years. The next time they went to the Super Bowl, they didn't even make the playoffs the following year. And they only made the playoffs once in the subsequent, I think it was 16 years. So this run of accomplishment is something that, as a Bengals fan, I think I speak for all of us, we're getting used to. And I would like to believe that because Joe Burrow is there and Jamar Chase is there, that you have the nucleus for something that is always, now you just need to build the rest of it, right? But it is a small market. They haven't always spent a ton of money. They've been economical. And I can understand where you're coming from in terms of you're about to pay Joe Burrow. You're going to have to pay Jamar Chase. Like, it's going to become more challenging to have the talent around them to compete for Super Bowl. So I want to say that based on what they have right now, if they don't get back to the AFC Conference Championship game, then it would be a disappointment. But I am not going to be Jamar Chase and suggest, as Shady said, that they should beat the Kansas City Chiefs, that they should be the best team in the AFC, and if they don't, they're a disappointment.
I struggle with this because I think any great team has aspirations of winning a Super Bowl. There's some teams that you are playing on and you don't really have a chance. Like, you know you're going to go out there and try your best, but you don't have the guy at quarterback. You don't have enough talent. You're just going to try, and if you make the playoffs, it's like a good thing. But if you are a great team, you are starting the season with the expectations that this is a year we're going to try and win the championship. If they don't win a championship this year, are they not going to be able to do that next year? To me, all of these teams, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Bills, the Eagles, on and on and on, the Chiefs, these teams that are in this space with these young quarterbacks in their prime, this is their window right now. And only one team can win the Super Bowl. So, yes, is it Super Bowl bust for any team that has their guy at quarterback, that has their coach and has some talent? Sure. But we're not going to look at all of these team seasons as unmitigated failures if they don't, because there's only one winner. And we don't think of the Eagles season as a failure. Was it disappointing because they didn't win the Super Bowl? Sure. It certainly wasn't a failure. The Bengals last year were not a failure. Getting to the AFC Championship game is a success for them. I hear what you're saying, that the windows aren't open forever, and there are certainly teams that I think are in that situation. If you were to tell me name 2 teams this year that really should make it to a Super Bowl at least, or in my opinion, it's a failure, and I've been wrestled off of this mountain that I tried to climb, but to me, the Jets would be in that situation because Aaron Rodgers is making the money that he makes, and truly his window is small. His window is small because of his age. When you're talking about youth and not having a window forever, I don't think he's going to play more than 2 years. So if he was going there to win a championship, the window is literally small. And then Deshaun Watson because of the contract that he has. But other than that, it's really tough to argue that you have a Super Bowl expectation of every single team. And for that matter, you mentioned the Chiefs. I would put the Chiefs and the Rams in that category. Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. The Chiefs won a Super Bowl. Those are 2 teams that don't have anything really to prove at this point.
Shady, were you the type of player that was like, either we want to win a Super Bowl, if I win a Super Bowl, season's a success, if I don't, season's a failure? Were you black and white? Or were you like, I did well in the playoffs, so that was a successful season? Where'd you stand?
Every season's different. So if I'm playing a season and we're not look like we're going to heading into the Super Bowl or the playoffs, then how can I think that, oh, well, we didn't go to the playoffs, so it's a bad year, when the whole season looked like we weren't going to the playoffs. I've been on those type of teams, right? You can't fool yourself. But other teams, I feel like we got to the playoffs, if we didn't win the Super Bowl, then that was like a letdown. Like, dang, because we had the team, we had the coaches, we were there for a reason. So I think you got to measure this every season for what it is. I mean, obviously, before the year starts.
That's where I'm at.
You want to win the Super
season.
Bowl. But you know who's in your locker room. See, I don't play that game. I'm as honest as it gets. If I'm in the locker room with the Bengals, I'm looking to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah. And if we don't, it can look like, wow, it was a failure year. Or at least make it to the playoffs. But if I play for the
Cardinals.
No. The Patriots. I'm not looking to go. In my mind, I'm thinking like, I want to go to the playoffs. Yeah. I want to go to the Super Bowl. I want to win my division. But likely, we probably won't. So I won't look at that season like a failure if we don't go to the playoffs, because I thought, for my quarterback, for my coaches, we not going.
Yeah. When are you thinking that? Like, is that from the get-go?
Man, you in camp.
Right?
You see who's dropping passes. You see guys going on sides. You see guys missing blocks. You know what's going to happen.
But usually I would say you have to be pretty bad to know you're not going far. Like when I was in 2012 with the Cleveland Browns, I knew beginning of the season, we're not going to, nor are we winning a Super Bowl. Every year I was with the Eagles, I genuinely thought, oh, we could win a Super Bowl. Things got to shake right, got to get a little bit lucky, got to get a break here, got to get a break there. But every year in Philly, I was like, Shady's here, Macklin's here, Deshaun Jackson's here, Jason Peters is here. Yeah. Offensively, we got enough. Like, they paying those dudes big money. Offensively, we got enough. If you're the Bengals, I'm like, Burrow's here, Chase is here, T. Higgins is here, Mixon's here, Tyler Boyd is here. Like, we got enough. That's just where I'm at with it.
My only issue is, like, because I felt like that for a period of time in my career with teams I was with. But the other part is like, okay, the winning Super Bowl every year is hard to do. That's why it's never been done like that. Mm-hmm. That's why you don't see guys going over and over and over again to the Super Bowl other than guys like Tom Brady.
Yep, Mahomes.
Right? And Mahomes. So it's hard to do. So that's why I've never seen or felt like, okay, well, we're going to the bowl this year. Okay, we're going to the bowl next year. Because you know reality is like, okay, who's doing this? It's only a couple players or teams doing this.
Also, the other teams have a say in this as well.
They get paid too.
They get paid.
They get paid
They got
too.
good players. Like, they're not just like, oh, the Bengals are here. Like, oh, it's a wrap.
Is there anybody that we put in the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes camp? Like,
No.
are they one of one? Like, do you separate them from
This season or in
everybody
totality?
else going into this season?
Eagles. I'll put the Eagles there.
You put them right there. as well.
Eagles better. But, I mean, first off, the
last year.
NFC East, the NFC, not the NFC East. The NFC East is good. The NFC is a joke. Like, this, it's almost laughable that all of the great quarterbacks, by the time the season starts, 8 of the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks will be in the AFC. 8 of the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks will be in the AFC by the time the season starts. You want to know which one in the NFC? One of the two?
Aaron.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
Eagles.
Eagles, Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Then furthermore, when you look at the Eagles roster once again, decorated.
But
Jalen Hurts coming off another good season. Nick Sirianni coming off an actual competent season. At running back, you bolstered the squad. Now, I don't think the Eagles got better. I just don't think they got worse. But I think other teams got worse.
The
Well,
Chiefs
he's
have been
at-
to 5 straight AFC Championship games
Right.
and won 2 Super
Right.
Bowls and been
That's
to
where I'm
3.
at with
There's no one else close to them.
Are you
There's
handicapping
one
them
else
because they're in
that's-
the NFC?
Well, and that's why I asked Slick Joy, are you talking about this season? If Slick was talking about in totality, no, there's nobody else. But who do I have just as much
Yeah, but the
confidence as the
totality
Chiefs?
is not just because the Chiefs just won a Super Bowl. The totality is their body of work over the past 5 years. Like the
Interesting.
Eagles just arrived.
Interestingly enough for me, I have just as much confidence, if not more, in the Eagles going back to the Super Bowl than the Chiefs going
Well,
back.
okay, so wait, why though? That's
One, I'm looking at road travel. Like, who would the Eagles have to beat? I think there are 3, maybe 2 really good teams in the NFC. The Cowboys and the Niners, really good. Outside of that, I think the Lions, to Joy's point, she's been hot on them for a while. I would say the Seahawks. You could say the Vikings. You could say the Giants, right? Like, think about the teams I'm just kind of naming. Whereas in the AFC,
Yes, a little bit
the
more.
Chiefs got to go through the Bengals, the Bills, the Ravens, the Dolphins, maybe the Jets, maybe the Chargers,
doing it.
maybe the Jags.
Yeah, they've been doing it.
Agreed.
And like, I want to put the Eagles with the Chiefs. I want to, right? Inside wants to do it, but I can't. And she talked about it. Like, the resume that the Chiefs been playing in the last 5 years is it's crazy. So for me to put the Eagles, who have, I think they arrived, right? They arrived, but it's not the same as the Chiefs. Chiefs, they arrived and they still delivering.
I think the scariest part for me with the Chiefs is you can take pieces away and it doesn't matter. Like, that's what's
They won
the
a
scariest.
championship
That's
without Tyreek Hill. I didn't think that was possible.
Like-
you heard what I was saying? Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way they can do that. I played with him. I seen what he could do.
and that may be with the Eagles too, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Right?
And hopefully you don't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Hopefully you don't have to. I just look at the competition and I'm
I
like,
hope you're right, though. I hope my Eagles are there.
But this thing for me, Shady, and I'll take it to break with this, is if the Eagles aren't, who beat them? Like, that's what I would have a hard time answering. Now, obviously, I'm assuming health. I don't want to assume anybody gets hurt.
Anything can happen.
Of
It's a
course
long
it can.
season.
Long season.
Of course it can. And
A bad game can happen.
No doubt about it.
Right.
But if the Eagles lose, I'm like, dang, you lost to the Cowboys, you lost to the Niners. Because if you lose to the Giants or the Vikings or the Packers or the Bears or the Panthers or the Saints or the Bucks or the Seahawks,
I mean, it's
I'm like,
June, though.
But if
The whole world could be different
if the
in September.
Chiefs lose,
The
I'm
whole
like,
world was different 2 days ago.
True. I'm just not lowering the bar for the Eagles.
I was different
Yeah.
yesterday. I'm different
The
every day.
outfit was.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.